Okay, good morning world. It's 8:45 a.m. August 9th, Wednesday morning. I just slept the first night in the post office parking lot. I've got a corner spot so I don't have too many people parked near me. It was a clear night, forecast 0 rain, so I did not set up the tent. I just slept in the back open air. That was actually, it worked out really well because it was windy and the wind would have made a lot of noise in the tarp, and since there was no rain, there was no need for the tarp, so it worked out really well. Let's see, I got to bed by about, I think it was 2, and it's almost 9 now, so I got almost, it's 8:45, so I got almost 7 hours of sleep. That worked out really good. First, it was pretty warm, so I just left my clothes on and slept on the mattress, and then I had my blanket and a jacket next to the bed for when it got cold, and it eventually cooled off, so I pulled the blanket on, and then just a horse blanket, and then an hour or two after that it got colder and a little windy again, so I put my jacket on. This is a black jacket with the hood, and that is like the perfect sleeping jacket. I swear I've slept in that a few times now, and it almost feels like a sleeping bag. It's kind of like got that same feel to it, so it's perfect. You know, you just zip into it and you're good to go. And my feet were warm enough in the blanket, so yeah, woke up feeling pretty good. So I'm going off for looking for breakfast now. Decided I'm probably going to eat out for breakfast at least. I think I'll go to a Denny's today. That sounds like a good plan. Cool. Stay tuned. Okay, I think this is going to work. Here's a summary of what's been going on lately. Today is, can't even tell. It's Wednesday. So I've been in El Paso for a day now. Worked last night, and then I spent the night in the parking lot at work. Didn't set up the tent because it was clear. I thought it was going to be windy, which it was a little bit, but no chance of rain according to the forecast. So the wind would have been just really annoying flapping the tent, whereas the wind flapping me was somehow less annoying, I guess. This morning I went to Denny's for breakfast. Spent about $13, I guess. I may not do that every day because, you know, if I'm saving $25 on gas, but then I spend most of it on food, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm going to look at that a little harder. That's been my only expense so far today, though, so that's not so bad. I just got finished spending, I think I spent 4 hours at the library. So in that time, I got a new account set up for my web hosting. I've been using a fairly expensive account that was made for reselling. So the idea was you could buy a bigger chunk of internet web hosting space, and then you could cut it up into smaller pieces and then resell it to customers of your own. So you would have your own web hosting company using their service. And I thought about doing that actually as a business for a while, and then the more I looked at it, the more I thought, no, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and I decided I didn't want to take on that risk. I did like the product though, and it gave me a few kind of cool tools that I enjoyed using. So I used that for, I was a mechanic for 3 years after I left, because I worked for the same hosting company that I use. So I worked as tech support there for a while. So I've been away from them for over 3 years now, and I've been still using that $33 a month product. And looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't really need to spend that much money. So I scaled down. What I've got right now is I've got both of them, the bigger one and the smaller one. I'm getting the first account set up on the smaller one, and then you can add on other domains to that. And it's pretty common if you're into web hosting, but So for instance, I've got carlincom.com is one domain, but I've also got one for my books, one for the motorcycle trip. Let me think of some other examples. That doesn't really matter. So each subject I would give its own domain, and so it could have its own look and feel, and it wouldn't be a part of carlincom.com. It would be its own entity. Thinking about it now, the amount of money I'm spending on that, I'm not really using most of it, so I'm starting to look at scaling things back. There's things that I've had that, I'd have an idea, I'm like, ooh, that would be a great business, so let me build a domain and a website around that. And I'd get it about 30-40% done and then forget about it. And then, it wasn't very expensive the first year, but then you renew the name, and it's whatever it costs to renew. It's more than it is the first time you buy it. And normally you set it up to automatically renew, so it just hits your credit card. And, next payday you're looking at your money. I'm like, where's all the money? And then you're like, oh, look, 15 domains that I have never used just renewed all at the same time. So it's kind of like, no, we can't do that anymore. So I'm working on that process now. The library had a nice comfortable chair to sit in with a little fold-out table that kind of like a college desk would have when it was on a nice comfortable chair. They had Wi-Fi, and there was a plug-in nearby that I could plug my laptop into, so that worked out really good. Now that I know that there's Wi-Fi in there, I've got a bunch of videos that I have shot and edited for the ranch project. So they're on an external hard drive I got. So I'm going to work on uploading some of those the rest of this week, and then next weekend when I go home again back to the ranch, I've got a whole bunch more on the video editing computer that I can copy over and then plan on uploading them the week after. So things are going fairly well. It's 3:15 now, so I have to get ready to get to work, which is just basically just a few miles from here. It's not a big deal. I found a library that was on the road that I drive to work anyway, and the Denny's was also near work, and there's a Walmart that's near work, so I'm kind of just staying close to my neighborhood right now, or the neighborhood that I work in anyway. And then what I'm looking at, would it make sense next week to bring the bicycle, keep the bicycle in the truck or behind the truck, leave the truck parked and not move it during the week, and then I could set up the tent, or I'm really looking at probably improving the tent for next week because it had some glaring defects. Tweak it a little bit the next weekend, make it just a little bit better, and then I can plan on staying in it next weekend again. And by then I should have the loan money, and I can probably buy some materials the next week, like the last day before I go home basically. And I got something in my eye. Hang on. And then I can work on building a better camper shell. And what I'm looking at is building something I can stand up in the back. Might have a slight overhang over the cab, but not big enough to sleep in. Just enough for storage, so I could put like a duffel bag up there, maybe put the microwave up there, and then a small kitchen counter and a place to sleep. And then that'll get most of the stuff out of the cab here, because I've got a lot of stuff in the cab that would normally be back in the camper. And then that will leave me the passenger seat. If I want to sit up here, I can. But the library is working out great. The hours are good. Didn't notice what time they opened. I can look that up later. But by the time I got here, there was already people in here. So they probably opened at say 8 or 9. That's fine. If I sleep in until 8 or 9 in the morning, hit a Mickey D's for a cup of coffee or something like that, then we're set. Come here for a couple hours every morning, get some internet done, take care of some of my digital projects that are just getting neglected. So overall, life is good. I think this is a good experiment, and the more I can improve the truck, the better off it'll be. So yay for that. Okay, more later. Notice I'm not in a blue t-shirt. Normally my work shirt is blue. I didn't want to be walking around too much in a postal shirt. Make it look like you're slacking or something like that. So next to me is the blue shirt. We'll put it on when we get to work. Cool. Stay tuned. Okay, once again I've hit record and I do not know what the date or the time is. 12:40. I think this is Thursday morning. You know what? I'm just going to stop and check back on. Hang on. Okay, back again. Yeah, it's 12:40, August 10th, 2017. That makes it Thursday morning. Just getting off work. I'm out in the parking lot. It's still kind of warm out. I'm going to stay up for a little bit. Maybe eat some. Let's see, what do we got here? Mini raviolis. That sounds good, right? I've got some granola bars. I got the. In addition to normally I buy the Cliff bars. So I got an assortment of Cliff bars. These are really good, but they're about $1 a piece. So being stingy, I keep looking for something cheaper that I can buy, and I keep forgetting if it's chocolate dipped, it'll melt. Everything chocolate melts. This is Texas. These are mush. So what I've been doing is I keep them in my locker, which is like cooled, air conditioned, whatever, and they're almost edible now. So I'll put these in my lunch bag, and then that'll be okay. So yeah, I'm so used to doing like massive road trips in my vehicle anyway. This is almost no big deal. I just right now I'm pretty much overpacked, really. I think what I'll do next week is cut way back. Plan on going to Walmart maybe once a day, even buy a Gatorade and a couple things to eat. I could buy a few canned things and put them aside, but what's happening is I'm running out of room in here. Now once I can build the camper shell on the back, that'll be a lot different because most of what's here will be in the back. But for right now, yeah, I've got way too much stuff, and since I decided not to buy ice, it's overkill. I got a cooler full of like refilled Gatorade bottles and stuff like that. I mixed up some Gatorade and some lemonade, and that'll be good for but probably another day, and then they'll start getting kind of gross. It seems to break down if they're not sealed. The ones that are commercially made are sealed, so I don't know if I could tighten them up a little bit, but the ones I make don't seem to last very long if they get warm. So yeah, this should cause massive yawns all across YouTube. Excellent. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I've got the phone on the charger. I've got a fast charger now for the truck. The charger I have in my lunch bag apparently is not a fast charger, so that's a bit of a problem. Not a big deal, just another one of those things. I gotta remember to keep this with me. If I'm on property, I gotta keep my postal ID with me, because the other shift doesn't know who I am. I'm just some homeless guy living in the parking lot. So it's not true. I'm not homeless. I just can't get to home. Actually, I could get home. I don't think I can get back though. Yeah. But okay, so Wednesday's finished. Tomorrow coming up is Thursday, and then Friday's payday. So we're set. Keep my trash bags out. Oh, I gotta remember, I've got apples I could eat. Yeah, I'm gonna go dig those out in a minute. Yeah, I got a whole bag full of apples that's in the other cooler. That's not a good place for them. Cool. I'm gonna eat an apple tonight. That'll be awesome. Yeah, really. In most respects, my life here is better than it is. My life is better here than it is on the ranch. I briefly thought about that when I was driving the bus. I was like, okay, if I got the bus transferred, because I when I bought it, I didn't really think I was going to drive it, so I just had them transfer the title to me. I didn't bother getting a license for it. But I thought about that briefly. I thought, well, what about if I did get the bus like road legal? It's basically there now. It's just not. Basically, it's not. But it wouldn't be hard to get it legal to drive. But I thought, yeah, okay, if I had the bus road legal, I could drive it and park it just off, outside the gate or something like that. Or, for that matter, if it's legal, I could probably drive it in here. They'd probably laugh at me. But, at 4 miles to the gallon, is it worth it? Probably not. But if I didn't need to go home for anything, then I'd have everything here, kind of thing. So I'm kind of going back and forth on not the bus. The bus I'll never bring into town. But, if I build out the camper project, I can go minimal, just make a shell that I can sleep in, and that's it. What I'm thinking about, though, now, if I build it a little bit nicer and insulate it really well, and maybe give it a little bit of a propane heater, or I can probably use that Mr. heater that I've got, but plan on making it really nice. And then I'm just realized I'm looking right up my nose holes there. That can't be good. There, that's a perfect shot. If I make the truck camper nicer, maybe I'll live in the truck over the winter and not live in the bus, because it'll be a heck of a lot easier to keep the truck warm. I could even run a heater core from the front to the back, and heat the back with the engine if I wanted to. So when I'm driving or whatever, it would be heating it back there. That could be good. So, and by the same token, I could probably air condition the back too. And I wish I had the black van. The black van had a second heater core in the back, and it had a second air conditioner for the back. It was all ran off the front. I'm sure none of it worked, but the parts were there. It would have been kind of cool to mess around with that. So, this is the best part about this, though, is, now I'm tired after work. I don't have to drive home. Yeah, that part's pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to put a wrap up on this day, and I think I'll edit this. I think this will be good, then I'll go ahead and maybe I'll even post it. Could happen. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.